Thanks everyone for coming to this little walkthrough of Trainspotting. My name's Mark Adams. I work in the Exhibitions department and I'm a project officer. I had the good fortune now for the second year to have this project in my little stable. Trainspotting 2012. Okay, so the point of this one is to just run through a couple of key things that I think will be useful for you to talk about when you happen to see visitors coming to the museum, and hopefully give them some of that great knowledge and insight that you guys have. I'll start just with the location. It's level 4, and even though we do have lift access to level 4, it's not to the public yet. The boardroom lift just here is okay for staff and volunteers to use, but unless someone's in a wheelchair, we're asked not to use that one at all. So for private use for staff and volunteers, all okay. It has, as usual, been a little bit of difficulty in getting people to come up the ramp from level 3. So in the little briefing sheet that you'll see that I've got just here, that yellow line that's on the train tracks that are on the side just here are there for a reason. They're pretty, but they're also going to have that same function that we had going across the admissions floor and then leading up the ramp to the gallery here. The exhibition itself is born out of a competition. This is the 3rd year that the competition has been run in the museum, and it's by far the biggest number of entries that we've received. 3,700 entries were received. 100 of those were just postal entries, but the vast majority, the remainder of those, come through on the Flickr portal. So people can upload. It's just a photo sharing website in case you don't know. Yep. But 3,600 of those. It was a gargantuan task getting through and looking at all of those. I was present at the judging, but I was really grateful that I wasn't a judge.
Who were the judges?
That detail is actually on the inside wall as well. That's a great question. The judges' names, Paula Bray, John Nolan and Moshe Rosenvig. Paula Bray is the manager of visual and digitisation services at the museum. John Nolan is the head teacher of photography at the TAFE Sydney Institute across the road. And Moshe Rosenvig is the director of the Head On Photo Festival in Sydney. Alright, just before we go inside, I'm just going to ask you to consider what it looks like for when people do come to the gallery. At the doorway, let's just go and take a look right now. This gallery is a really long one. It goes right down to the end, and then there's a small alcove off to the right at the very end there. And the images, there are 54 of them, are along the walls, but also on these grey temporary walls that are in the centre section of the gallery. There's a reason for that. Those grey ones that are in the centre here are the category winners for each of the 6 categories. So that's a nice bit of information that you can add to the talk that you give. Let's just move in a little bit further. So one really key thing about this exhibition is that, as I've been told, it's the 2nd highest prize money for a photographic competition that is related, that has a train-related theme. So obviously, as you would volunteers understand, we have a very large collection of rail-related memorabilia and objects in the museum. The photographic side of that and the railway combination is a really nice match. Now, on that subject of prize money, this is the overall winner, and only the overall winner and the category winners, the 6 category winners, receive a prize. So that's money, and the overall winner gets prize money of $5,000, and then the category winners each get $2,000. That detail I was talking about before with the judges is all captured here on the introduction panel. And then each one of the images has, as usual, detail about the photographer, where the image was taken, and then just a short artist's comment. On the key points, this handout that I've produced, the 3rd section down is the one which talks or lists the 6 categories of the competition. and it lists them in the sequence that you'll find them when you walk through the gallery. So we're actually right at the first category here, which is called Trainspotting, and then in sequence it goes steam, people and trains, diesel, electric or trams. There's a mobile phone category, which is the first time that we've had that category, shots that were taken using a mobile phone. And then the very last category is railway infrastructure. This kind of detail may be a bit confusing and might be hard to understand right now, but when you come into the gallery you'll see it's quite clear from the subject matter and the images that you see in these sections. The gallery is nicely demarcated with either these wooden panels across the floor or smaller walls. So I brought you down to this one. I'm not going to speak about each one of the sections as such, but mobile phone, as I said before, this is the first year that we've included photographs in that category, and it's within this same section as the diesel electric, which is on the other side behind us here. But one thing that you'll notice straight off is that these images are much smaller than the other ones because of the size of the images that come out with mobile phones. Still not a very big number of entries for this category, but we're expecting that will grow with the increased popularity of smartphones. Okay, I've brought you over to one of the three showcases, the heritage showcases in the exhibition, and I'm really proud of the addition of the content for these ones. Two of these showcases contain model trains, and one of them contains vintage cameras from the museum's collection. So, excuse me, these models here are a very small example, a number of examples of a very, very large tranche of models which this man here, Neil Cram, has given to the museum under the Commonwealth Government Cultural Gifts Donation Program. I think that's all of it. Neil, I had the good fortune to go out on the day that this particular range of models were selected. Lovely, lovely old man who is very passionate about model making and collecting. So in combination with a good friend of his who is primarily the model maker, Neil has commissioned the production of, and this is quite striking, since 1963 he has managed to reproduce in model form, and I think it's called HO scale. There's a particular category of scale of the models called HO. In HO scale, Neil has commissioned the production of every wagon, carriage, locomotive that has ever run on New South Wales railways. Ever run on New South Wales railways. Now, at quick glance, when you're skimming past and looking at these beautiful photographs in the exhibition, you may easily be forgiven for walking past here and thinking these are store-bought models. They're not. And to illustrate that display, illustrate that point, we've included some of the brass fretwork, which is literally from the very ground up, the way that the models are made. And then on this major plinth here is Neil's very first locomotive. This one was built in 1963. So since then, and I think from memory it's well and truly over 1,000. I think it's 1,100, it might be 12 or more hundred models. So the museum's received 2 of the 3 parts of this donation. Neil's retained the last batch of his absolute pride and joy models. And the arrangement is that on Neil's passing, the museum will receive the final instalment of these. So many of these models actually do work electrically, and the precision to detail is one of the most stunning factual pieces about the whole situation. You'll see in the tipper down here there is some coal. The coal that is here has been retrieved. Neil has done many overseas trips and has gone to places, collieries in England and the UK, and collected the kind of coal which would have been used at the time, had it ground up to a particular size and then included in the model. The precision and the attention to detail is breathtaking. So in the labels here there is information about Neil and also Eddie Gard, who is the model maker that Neil has commissioned for most of the production of the models. And you'll notice, as with all of the labels, that detail is fairly minor. We have the good fortune in the fact that Eddie Gard has produced a book on the process of model making. And in the reading area, which is just to my right over here, along the side of the wall there we have Neil's book, and I'll show you that one shortly. So we've got a nice little couple of comfortable bean bags here that you can take a seat on and read some of the books that we've got on display. And I'm holding the one that I was referring to earlier. This is a book about the process of model making. And it's written by Eddie Gard. Just turn around slowly and show you. Now the purpose of this one is just to make it clear that these are not store-bought models. The design of, the appearance of the carriages is based on real rolling stock. Much of it is not in existence anymore and was built through incredible research of the kinds of rolling stock that was used at certain periods throughout New South Wales railway history.
Thanks.
Alright, so we're almost at the very end of the gallery here, and just over my shoulder is a show reel. Now this show reel has the complete set of all 3,600 entries which were provided, as I said, either by post or through the Flickr portal. And it is a continuously running loop of all of the entrants who applied for Trainspotting. Okay, so this is the second of the two showcases that has the model trains in it, and I've brought you over to this one. This is one of my favourite pieces in the whole of the models. Down in the showcase here we've got a magnifying glass up against the wall of the side of one of the carriages, and I'll give you a chance to take a read of it if you like. So it says, persons are cautioned not to approach this van. You might be wondering why the side of a wagon would say that. So I'll give you a hint. It's about prisoners. So we had, when prisoner movement was required around the state, obviously trains were the only or the best form of that. So it's a prison wagon. So what's really amazing to me is the level of detail and the incredibly high standards of perfection that both Neil and his model maker Eddie have produced, and you can see in beautiful colour, and now we are the proud owners of in the museum's collection. Now before we do finish up, one very important thing that I'd really appreciate you recommend, pardon me, there are two things. One of them is the DVD, which is on display just around the corner here, and that is a DVD which chronicles the rebuilding, if you like, of the 3265 locomotive. So that DVD is available for sale down in the museum shop. It'd be really nice if we could promote that when you see people here. Okay, the very last thing that we're encouraging people to do is to nominate their choice for the very best photograph among the 54 images that are on display in Trainspotting 2012. And you can do that through the computer terminal just over to my left across here. So you'll see every one of the images that is on display around the walls and on the centre sections here. People will be able to confirm through either the image or the label what the title is for those particular photographs, and then nominate their choice. There is the potential for them to win the People's Choice Prize, which is a voucher down at the museum shop. Okay, so just to wrap up, the exhibition period for Trainspotting is a really short time, sadly. I feel really passionate about this exhibition, but it will run for only 8 weeks. So the closing date for Trainspotting is the 11th of November. As you can see, I really love the subject matter. The combination of photography and rolling stock is really wonderful. And it won't be immediately apparent, I think, to some of the visitors, which is why we've decided to ask for your help. And we love the extra value that the volunteers add to the museum's exhibition. So I hope you enjoyed as well. Thank you very much.